Tomorrow night, I'm gonna smash your boy, guys. I'm gonna smash your boy.
Today we're diving into the world of mixed martial arts to highlight 10 MMA fighters who changed the game. These incredible athletes not only dominated their opponents in the octagon, but also transformed the sport itself with their unique styles, personalities, and groundbreaking achievements. From the legendary Anderson Silva to the unstoppable Conor McGregor, each fighter on our list has left an indelible mark on MMA. Anderson Silva. Anderson Silva's story is one for the ages. Born into poverty in São Paulo, Brazil, Anderson spent his childhood training in martial arts, honing the skills that would make him a legend. When he joined the UFC in 2006, no one could have predicted the impact he would have on the sport. Silva's reign as UFC middleweight champion is the longest in history at 457 days. He defended his title a record 16 times, facing all comers with his unorthodox style and devastating striking. Fights like his knockout of Vitor Belfort with a front kick are etched in MMA history. But it wasn't just his fighting ability that made Anderson Silva a game changer. It was his ability to captivate audiences with his showmanship and personality. From his spider-like movements to his trash-talking with Chael Sonnen, Silva brought a new level of entertainment to the sport. Georges ST-Pierre. If Anderson Silva was the king of the middleweights, Georges St-Pierre was the undisputed ruler of the welterweights. GSP's journey to the top was anything but easy, though. After a devastating loss to Matt Hughes early in his career, St-Pierre went back to the drawing board, transforming himself into a complete fighter. When GSP won the welterweight title for the first time in 2006, he ushered in a new era of MMA. His combination of wrestling, striking, and jiu-jitsu was a blueprint for future champions. But what made St-Pierre truly special was his dedication to preparation and his ability to adapt to any opponent. St-Pierre's fights against the likes of BJ Penn, Matt Hughes, and Nick Diaz showcased his versatility and fight IQ. He wasn't just a physical specimen, he was a cerebral assassin. GSP's dominance and professionalism raised the bar for what it meant to be a champion in the UFC. Conor McGregor. If Georges St-Pierre was the king of professionalism, Conor McGregor was the court jester. The brash Irishman burst onto the scene in 2013, captivating fans with his outrageous personality and knockout power. McGregor's rise to the top was meteoric, as he became the first fighter to hold titles in 2 weight classes simultaneously. But it wasn't just his fighting ability that made Conor a game changer. It was his ability to sell a fight like no one else. From his infamous red panty night comment to his pre-fight antics, McGregor brought a level of showmanship to MMA that had never been seen before. Love him or hate him, there's no denying the impact Conor McGregor had on the sport. He proved that personality and trash talking could be just as important as fighting skills and drawing eyeballs. McGregor's success paved the way for future stars to embrace their personalities and become larger-than-life figures. Amanda Nunes. While Conor McGregor was making headlines with his brash personality, Amanda Nunes was quietly making history in the women's divisions. The Brazilian, known as the Lioness, is the only fighter, male or female, to hold titles in 2 different weight classes simultaneously. Nunes' dominance is even more impressive when you consider the fighters she's beaten. She's defeated legends like Ronda Rousey, Miesha Tate, and Valentina Shevchenko. Her knockout power and relentless pressure have made her one of the most feared fighters in the UFC. But what makes Amanda Nunes a game changer is her ability to inspire the next generation of female fighters. She's proven that women can be just as dominant and exciting as their male counterparts. Nunes' success has opened doors for countless other women to pursue their dreams of becoming MMA champions. Chabib Nurmagamedow. If Amanda Nunes was the queen of the women's divisions, Chabib Nurmagamedow was the king of the lightweights. The undefeated Russian known as the Eagle was a force of nature in the octagon, using his relentless wrestling and smothering top control to overwhelm opponents. Nurmagomedov's dominance was so complete that he retired with a perfect 29-0 record. He never lost a single round on the judges' scorecards. Fights like his submission win over Conor McGregor and his title defense against Dustin Poirier showcased his ability to impose his will on anyone in the division. But Nurmagomedov's impact on MMA goes beyond his fighting skills. He brought a new level of discipline and focus to the sport, training tirelessly in Dagestan and living a devout Muslim lifestyle. His humility and respect for his opponents were a refreshing contrast to the trash-talking and showmanship of other stars. Ronda Rousey. If Chabib Nurmagamedow was the king of discipline, Ronda Rousey was the queen of judo. The former Olympic bronze medalist burst onto the MMA scene in 2011, using her signature armbar to submit every opponent she faced. Rousey's dominance was so complete that she became the first woman to sign with the UFC. Her fights against the likes of Miesha Tate and Kat Zingano showcased her ability to impose her will on the ground. But it was her knockout loss to Holly Holm that truly changed the game. Rousey's defeat proved that even the most dominant champions could be beaten. It opened the door for a new generation of fighters to challenge the status quo. Rousey's impact on women's MMA can't be overstated. She paved the way for stars like Amanda Nunes and Valentina Shevchenko to thrive. Daniel Cormier. If Ronda Rousey was the queen of judo, Daniel Cormier was the king of wrestling. The former Olympic wrestler made the transition to MMA look easy, using his relentless pressure and powerful takedowns to dominate opponents in both the heavyweight and light heavyweight divisions. Cormier's fights against the likes of Stipe Miocic and Alexander Gustafsson showcased his ability to adapt to any situation. He was a master of the clinch, using his strength and technique to wear down opponents. But it was his rivalry with Jon Jones that truly cemented his legacy. Cormier's losses to Jones were heartbreaking, but they also proved his resilience. He came back stronger each time, eventually winning the heavyweight title and cementing his status as one of the greatest fighters of all time. Cormier's impact on MMA can be seen in the success of other wrestlers turned MMA fighters like Henry Cejudo and Kamaru Usman. Henry Cejudo. Speaking of Henry Cejudo, the Olympic gold medalist is another wrestler who made a huge impact on MMA. Cejudo burst onto the scene in 2014, using his wrestling skills to defeat the likes of Demetrius Johnson and TJ Dillashaw. But Cejudo's impact goes beyond his fighting skills. He was a master of self-promotion, embracing his underdog status and using it to motivate himself. Fights like his upset win over Demetrius Johnson and his title defense against Marlon Moraes showcased his ability to rise to the occasion. Cejudo's retirement at the peak of his career was a surprise, but it also proved his commitment to his craft. He walked away on his own terms, cementing his legacy as one of the most unique and entertaining fighters in MMA history. Cejudo's success paved the way for other wrestlers to embrace their personalities and become stars in their own right. Jon Jones. If Henry Cejudo was the master of self-promotion, Jon Jones was the master of the octagon. The youngest champion in UFC history, Jones has dominated the light heavyweight division for over a decade, using his unorthodox striking and wrestling to overwhelm opponents. Jones's fights against the likes of Daniel Cormier, Alexander Gustafsson, and Lyoto Machida showcased his ability to adapt to any situation. He was a master of the clinch, using his length and strength to control the action. But it was his ability to overcome adversity that truly made him a game changer. From his battles with substance abuse to his run-ins with the law, Jones has faced more than his fair share of challenges, but he's always come back stronger, proving his resilience and determination. Jones's impact on MMA can be seen in the success of other fighters who have followed in his footsteps, like Israel Adesanya and Khamzat Chimaev. BJ Penn. Last but not least, we have BJ Penn, the original prodigy. Penn burst onto the scene in 2001, using his jiu-jitsu skills to submit opponents in both the lightweight and welterweight divisions. Penn's fights against the likes of Matt Hughes, Georges St-Pierre, and Jens Pulver showcased his ability to compete at the highest level. He was a master of the ground game, using his submissions to finish fights, but it was his willingness to move up in weight and challenge the best fighters in the world that truly made him a game changer. Penn's impact on MMA can be seen in the success of other fighters who have followed in his footsteps, like Nate Diaz and Chabib Nurmagamedow. He proved that size doesn't always matter in MMA, and that skill and heart can overcome physical advantages. Penn's legacy as one of the greatest lightweights of all time is secure, and his impact on the sport will be felt for years to come.